I think that's a great question. So we'll have to ask our master over there is if Hulk ripped Wolverine and Deadpool in half at the same spot, would both of them live, or would one of them live, one of them die? I don't know the mechanics. I want to take us on a little Sidequest.
Goku's one of the greatest anime heroes of all time. He's badass. He's awesome.
Dude, hands down, Final Fantasy VII wins every day.
How could you not love the Mario Brothers movie?
RoboCop kicks everyone else's ass.
And that's why Superman sucks.
Oh, the Velociraptors kick ass in Jurassic Park every single day.
Yep, went on a bit of a rant there, huh?
Oh, welcome to the Sidequest podcast, everybody. This is Eric. It is year number 2, Sidequest Podcast 2.0. This is episode 104. So we have been here for a year to be exact, and I am joined by Justin and Jeff, my trusty sidekicks here on the Sidequest Podcast, and we've got a couple main topics we're going to talk about tonight. The first being our podcast, A Year in Review. We're going to talk a little bit about Spooktober, which is our favorite month ever, and then we're going to finish it off with some Disney World 50th anniversary. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on our first episode of Year 2.
Year 2.
Year
2. I mean, we have hit before this episode 103 episodes. So I've been stuck with you fools for at least a half an hour, a couple times per week, just talking who knows what. So I gotta know, take us on our very first little side quest here, is Jeff, any favorite episodes from the first 103? In no particular order, just what are some that come to mind?
I mean, I always loved our that first month because it was just very Halloween themed. And pretty much all of those were great because we didn't know what the hell we were doing. And they just stand out to me because, you know, it's like watching the first season of The Office. It's great, and you know what you're in for, and there was some, growing pains there. So I'd have to say just that first month.
Okay. A lot of good episodes in there. Justin, what about you, sir?
I think that's a great answer. I'm going to bring up the Lost episode as one of my favorites, we talked. we need to dig it up, and we need to finally put it out there, audience. But there's an episode that we recorded that we just fumbled.
Shit the bed.
It was so much fun, and until the day that the three of us die, we will know. And if I say the Lost episode, laughter.
100%. Jeff, I'm definitely in your corner too. I mean, what can beat the very first episode of the podcast where we just literally sat down and recorded this, and we're just like hoping we kind of got it right? Our three visions. Just what the hell did we talk about? Just introducing ourselves and just silly things like that. So the first episode is definitely one of my favorites. But I'm also a fan of some of our top threes. I know we started off with, I think it was a top 5, but man, we had to whittle that bad boy down to a top 3. I just love hearing the different types of movies you guys love, out there, depending on the season or the genre. So I got to throw it out there. Some of those top 3 episodes are among some of my favorites. So outside of that, though, we've had a lot of guests, a lot of collaborations. Justin.
Episodes.
Yeah. I mean, so many good ones. Justin, any favorite guests or collaborations come to mind over this past year?
Yeah, the first one that I loved, and I can't wait to get them back again, but that was the Toddcast podcast.
Great group of guys. It was
such a great group, and I don't think that we fully melded the comedy that we could have from just how ridiculously obscure that they are. But it was just hilarious just to hear about their antics about interviewing people named Todd.
Yeah.
I just that's just so fascinating to me. It's like I couldn't name one person named Todd that I know. And they've got a podcast, I hope it's still going, dedicated to talking to all people named Todd.
Yeah.
That's a winner to me. They were so interested in us, and so I don't know. I love that. That was one of my favorite guests.
Absolutely. Shout out to the Toddcast pod out there. They're definitely still making episodes, and we definitely got to get them back here in year 2 because you're right. They actually fed us a lot of great side questions. Like even like our first couple of months there, when we would poll out to the folks on Instagram and say, "Hey, we're recording tonight. Any side questions?" They would just come up with the most ridiculous, like, how would you eat a banana or something without whatever the fuck it was. They would just come up with the most weirdest, right up our alley type of questions that we loved answering. So I gotta piggyback off that one. Jeff, what about you, sir? Any favorite guests, collaborations?
I mean, two come to mind just because those two specific episodes, I learned a lot. So the whole time I was just sitting there like, I didn't know that, I didn't know that, and I didn't know that. And that's the one episode when we had Becky on with Power Rangers, where she just, for a good 30 minutes, just told us everything about all the deaths, which I had no idea about any of that shit. And then the second was when we had Tommy on when you were, I think, on your honeymoon, and
Yeah.
Justin and Tommy went full force in wrestling. And I was literally just asking questions because I was just curious, because they obviously know more than either of us when it comes to wrestling. So I like the ones where the guests come on and like you're learning something, even if it's in like the geek nerd culture, but it's something that you had no idea.
Yeah,
Those were two standouts.
Absolutely. I mean, we had so many great guests. I mean, shout out to all of our friends that joined us: Palindrome Jedi, Dave, Tommy, our cousin Dan, just a whole lot of people that we were able to have come on and just shoot the shit with. Really fun. I enjoyed, just like you, Jeff, I enjoyed like the Stellar Empire guest, Andrew Sears. He was fun to have on. And of course, geeking out with Dr. Clark Shearla. Like that. It's so funny that, by day he's carving people up on a slab, a cold slab table, and then by night he's like eating popcorn and geeking out to all the best types of Star Wars stuff that's out there. So it's just really cool to get that geek side of folks that maybe normally wouldn't come out, or maybe just it's not well known to them. So I got to give shout outs to both those episodes, and yeah, we definitely got to do some more collabs this year. So folks that are listening, let us know if you want to be on the show. We don't care who you are. Just come on, join us, and let's have a good time. And I feel like not many podcasts would do this, so maybe this is a little controversial. But I also want to know, Justin, you alluded to it a little bit, but what about our worst episodes? Do you guys have any episodes that come to mind where it's like, you know what? We missed the mark. That just wasn't enough high energy. What the fuck were we even talking about for 30 minutes? Any ideas for worst episodes? Justin, I'll start with you to put you on the spot again.
Oh, I'm on the spot. I put in the frying pan here. There we go. Sizzle, sizzle. While I loved so much of what our initial run, our first go of episodes was 1 year ago, audience. Thank you. Applause. I think we recorded our first episode 3 or 4 times.
Yes.
Before we, as a trio, agreed that this is what we want to say. So, again, I would throw those into the lost episode file and say, like, those were some shit episodes with some dead space. With, like, we've done, I think, grown so much with not talking over one another. But, like, as much as those first initial episodes were so much fun for learning, like, some of them were probably pretty shitty.
Good points. I definitely agree with you. Jeff, what about you? Any episodes or topics come to mind that just didn't hit the mark?
Well, I mean, I hate talking about food, so anytime we talk about food,
I knew it.
Because it's not geek talk at all, so I don't find it interesting. So I feel we fail. But you know how I feel about food. And the other one, which the audience has never heard, but we have, and I hope one day, Eric, you post on social media at least the intro that got recorded, of which I feel is the worst episode because it was so bad we had to stop and restart. You were talking about popcorn, if we like popcorn, and then you were done to
hot dog water. Oh, God.
And then you were talking about hot dog water, and luckily it broke on your end. And I was about to just say, we got to stop.
Code red.
We got to redo this.
It's so true. It's so true. It's out there
the
somewhere.
lost episode.
That is the lost episode Justin's referring to. So I will find it. We will post it, and just everybody as a 1 year happy birthday special. We will post that today as well, October 1st. So be on the lookout for that because it's a shit show. You'll laugh your ass off.
It's so bad.
One of mine, Jeff, it's kind of in your court, is I was just looking through our list of episodes because I'll list out kind of the topics of what we talk about. And episode 13, somehow I can vividly remember, we talked about frozen pizzas, microtransactions, and a wheel of Sidequest. So you could tell we were just reaching, like, I think we literally showed up 2 minutes before we were recording. We're like, all right, what do we do today? Oh, I don't know. I had a frozen pizza for dinner. Cool, done. Jeff, what'd you do last night? Well, I was playing this game and there was a micro. Okay, done. And that's how we figured it out. So episode 13, Unlucky 13, if if you want to take a gander at that one. And then I'll be honest, this is more of like a net statement out there, is a little criticism on our parts, just again, self-reflecting this past year, is, we get very excited and heated about Marvel, but there's a couple of episodes, or maybe 4 or 5 in a row, where it's like, oh my God, they're fucking talking about Marvel again. And in hindsight, you're right, audience. Like, wow, we really went Marvel heavy when we got overly excited when they started releasing WandaVision and all the new shows and movies. So looking back, and something I think we'll be able to achieve pretty easily here in year 2 is, little doses. Things are good in little doses. Let's talk a little bit about it, but let's move on to the next and stay away from frozen pizzas. So,
well, can I say one thing?
Of course.
We were on a drought of content of anything. We weren't getting new video games. We weren't getting new movies or anything. All we got, at least if in the realm of nerds and geeks, was just Marvel. I mean, that was it. That's all we were getting fed, which is fine. But so, I think everyone was kind of geeking out at the time because that's all we had. We didn't even have Dune. We didn't have Star Wars. We had nothing. Right. All we had was Marvel.
Yep. Very true. So a little bit of credit back to us, but still, looking back now, could we have had maybe a little bit of something else? Probably.
Negative.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that was our little wrap up of the year in review. So obviously we don't expect you all to go back and listen to every single one, but go back and browse through. Definitely listen to the first couple episodes to see how we stumbled and fell. And, even after 50 episodes or 75, there's still times where we stumble and fall. That's what we do here at times. But it's been a great time. I'm so glad we made it to the year mark. Here we are in year 2. And with that, what comes but on this day is it's officially Spooktober. Our favorite time of year is back once again. So buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. And for those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, we are major Spooktober fans. Everything spooky, the season, autumn, as Justin would put it, as opposed to fall. So I got to ask you guys, Jeff first, what are we looking forward to the most this Spooktober?
For me, it's not the most. It's the whole thing. This weekend, I've been doing the Halloween decorations outside. I get real excited about that. I get excited about the pumpkin beer we all love that only comes out now. I'm excited about Sunny Acres. I'm excited about the haunted houses and the haunted trails we're going to go on. I'm excited about Spooktober, our big Halloween party. Halloween, we're all dressing up as Lokis. I mean, the entire month is jam-packed. Fright Fest I'm going to. I mean, everything about it, just having Halloween consuming us for 1 month is what I'm most excited about.
And then it's just a massive hangover November 1st.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you roll a mailbox. 1 year anniversary of that. Let's never forget.
Little RIP of Justin and Palindrome Jedi's mailbox Jeff ran over almost a year ago. Wow, gone so soon. Gone too soon. Justin, what about you, sir? What are you looking forward to most in Spooktober?
So the one thing that I will bring up, and was looking forward to, but got canceled due to COVID, but we were going to see Dashboard Confessional play second weekend of October. Super, never seen them. He was playing a live unplugged show, and due to complications with the pandemic, canceled his entire run of this unplugged show. But I'm a massive Dashboard fan, and his MTV Unplugged set is one of my favorite albums ever. And I was looking forward to that like gangbusters. And when we got the cancellation notice from Live Nation, I was very disappointed. So it's a little bit opposite of Jeff's excitement. So I'm rolling into the funness that we all have planned. Obviously, one audience that you're listening to this episode as it drops on October 1st, we will later this night be on a spooky cruise, Hocus Pocus Focus, and with alcohol. So that'll be tons of fun. And obviously, Spooktober itself, the big party that we throw, which may or may not end with a cackle and a pizza, is always a highlight.
Very good points. You guys are getting me so excited already. I've already got goosebumps, like the show Goosebumps, or the books. But I am super excited this year. If I had to pick one thing, I honestly think the biggest takeaway for us this year, at least for me, is all of us dressing up as different Lokis and Mobius, and just, we know a lot of people probably have the same ideas, but it'll be so fun for us to do it, because I feel like we got something going. Last year was Schitt's Creek, and now this year it's Loki. I feel like now we started something, and we just got to see it through until the end of time. So I'm excited.
I'm excited for that too. That I'm so glad that you bring that up. Do we want to give a preview of the different Loki variants that we're going to be? Or do we want the audience to just see it live when it happens?
Ooh, you bring up a good question. I would say make it a surprise. Make it a little surprise. Maybe we tease it every once in a while here each week. Just maybe, Jeff, you give some pictures out there of maybe who's who. But I say leave it a surprise.
Done deal.
I love that. And Jeff, you said you already decorated, which I think that's acceptable. I don't know why I was going after you so hard in my voice, but I think you got to start early, because before you know it, Spooktober's over, and you got to get the most out of your decorations.
Well, yeah, I mean, most of Fall Fest and the Halloween stuff kind of soft start this weekend. So, you got to get everything up, because on Friday, I'm turning the lights on. The house is going to be spookified. The inside's all got to be ready. So on October 1st, it's going. And it takes a while to set all the stuff up outside, all the stuff inside. So you got to kind of get it ready the week before. So I feel the week before is acceptable. So by October 1st, whatever day it lands on each year, you turn it all on and you're ready to go.
Love that. Yep. And if you think about it, like, technically fall starts September 22nd, 23rd each year, and a week later it's basically October 1st. So people decorate for fall for a week, and then it's spooky season. Like in this household, the pumpkins are out, the corn stalks are out a week ago, and now it's like, hey, October 1st, let's get going. We got a lot of spookiness in this house to get up and running, outside, animatronics, fog machines, all the fun stuff. So I am so ready for Spooktober. So without further ado, in this Sidequest 2.0, we've got I got a very special surprise for you. So just you guys hang on real tight. We got a brand new segment coming up.
Get over here! Finish it! Flawless victory.
Is that it?
Ooh, that was it. We did it. So this brand new segment that I love, I know, Jeff, you love this too. This is Death Battle. So we are going to talk about a very fun death battle that I put together. So each week we'll take some turns here and there, and we'll bring this segment up every once in a while. But Wolverine versus Deadpool in a death battle. I personally thought, we went through an episode where we talked a little bit about this in the past, but these two guys, Wolverine and Deadpool, just really struck a chord with me. Like two guys that can heal themselves, that have really great abilities, and what I would just love to see them talk shit to each other as well. So without further ado, let's talk death battle. Jeff, Wolverine versus Deadpool, who you got and why?
I mean, as much as I love Wolverine, I'm going to have to go with Deadpool, just from his feats in the comics, or at least from what I read. He literally cannot die. I know Wolverine has a very fast healing ability, but I believe if they just chucked him into the sun, he's pretty much dead. And I think Magneto can just pretty much rip him apart. and then he wouldn't be able to heal from that. Where Deadpool literally has been thrown in black holes, suns, and he just kind of poofs back into existence. So he literally can't die. He also killed, in one of the comics, all of the Marvel characters because he realized he was in a comic book and just jumped around killing everyone. So I know that was just limited to one series. That's not a normal power of his, but if you're retrospecting all of them, I just don't see Wolverine pulling off the weird, almost Toon Force type, feats that Deadpool has. So I'm gonna have to go with Deadpool with it.
All right. Very compelling argument right there. Justin, what about you, sir?
I think Jeff is spot on with what he's saying, but I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I'm going to say Wolverine wins. It's a close battle. It's not easy to say because their powers are so matched head to head. Obviously, Wolverine can't kill Deadpool, and Deadpool's and his guns don't do any damage to Wolverine. But I think that Wolverine has the experience over Deadpool to come up with a way. And again, I mean, Wolverine battles Hulk head to head and wins. Does Hulk rip Deadpool in half and call it a day? And if so, does Wolverine by osmosis then be the stronger character? That's what's weighing on me to say Wolverine.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm right.
Okay.
But that's the way that I'm leaning.
Okay. I only know so much about both of them, and obviously I know what I know from the movies. And I just, first of all, I think it'd be great to have Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds go on head to head in a movie format, just for like a short, cinematic, fun shit to do, 30-minute
properly,
Please,
because of
yes.
the bullshit that we saw of them going head to head, back to back.
Oh my
With Liv
god.
Schreiber was just that does not count.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds had a couple of those in his career with Green Lantern, that one, but it would be great to see them actually go head to head. And I think from a battle standpoint, it would be a really well fought battle. Hand to hand combat would be tough though, because with Wolverine's claws, and I know Deadpool has his swords, but I have to imagine that Deadpool at one strike or another from Wolverine is going to get either his arm ripped off, or he's just going to slice right through the sword, or I just feel like he's going to be fairly powerless not too early on in the fight. Like, I think it would be great, and he'll hop around and do some of his acrobatics and stuff, but Wolverine's just going to go full on brute force and just like tear him up, tear him apart, and I just think Wolverine's going to be standing on his corpse. But Justin, you brought something up. What?
Well, wait.
Yeah.
If he's standing on his corpse, but Deadpool can't die, so he comes up after it.
Well, could he though? I think that's a great question. So we'll have to ask our master over there is if Hulk ripped Wolverine and Deadpool in half at the same spot, would both of them live, or would one of them live, one of them die? I don't know the mechanics.
And unfortunately, the comics are kind of murky with the mechanics behind that, because I know he rips Wolverine in half, and Wolverine just kind of says "fuck you" and tears his head off and kills him. But as Jeff's saying, Deadpool, he doesn't have. I mean, the way that he's written with character plot armor.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so tough, because again, if battle to battle, if you're talking about pre-mutant Wolverine, Logan versus Deadpool, like, who wins? I mean, I still think Wolverine is the victor. But
it's a good one.
It's a really great question. It's a really great question. And then you factor in the whole fact, like Eric, you're saying, like, if he goes brute force, if he goes berserk mode Wolverine, that is, he's almost like the Hulk when he's just like in this rage of fury where he just is just going to be berserker barrage and just nailing down. And that's a good audience. Come on, weigh in.
Yeah, we want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, we got to hear from you guys out there, because this is a tough one. I mean, again, I just love both the actors that play him. Obviously, in the comics, it's totally different, but it would just be such a fun fight to see, like how it would need to be almost like John Wick choreography or something, like just those two going at it, not on the fucking like the movie where they're like on top of a nuclear reactor plant or some shit, but like I would just love to see them in close quarters, like kind of across the room, or just Deadpool shooting him in the forehead. And he's like, wow, you really just can't die, can you? You know, it seems like at least Deadpool, like if he gets, you know, like if you cut his arm off or something, like it's just going to grow back. Like that would be fun to have a little timeout where like Wolverine, almost like a best of three. I feel like they would do a best of three where like Wolverine slices off most of Deadpool's limbs and he's like, all right, okay, time out. And then he like has to take a day or two to like regrow his limbs and then go back in for round two. That would be fun.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
I love that. So we got to hear from everybody out there. Let us know what you think. Hit us up at Sidequest Pod. We're still out there. You know where to find us. Send us a message. We'll post this on social media, and we want to hear from you. We'll post the results this weekend. So switching gears a little bit, switching ears, that is Mickey ears, and I think both Wolverine and Ryan Reynolds there have one time or another worked for the mouse, but we at the Sidequest podcast, as most of you know, and if you're a brand new listener, you may know now that Jeff and I, and in a close second, Justin, are huge fans of Disney World. Growing up there, watching the movies, just we really love Disney World in Florida. And on this day, October 1st in 1971, 50 years ago, Mr. Walt Disney stood on the ground and started digging and said, I'm going to make this the most magical place on earth. And he did. He did just that. Unfortunately, he passed away before it was finished. But it was opened on the 71st of July, which is October 1st.
April the 4th of December.
December the 4th.
Oh my God. So it is 50 years old. So happy birthday, Mr. Mickey Mouse. And I got to know from you guys, we've all been there. You guys have been there together before, but what are some of your favorite memories? And Jeff, let's go ahead and start with you. Just some favorite memories growing up, recent memories, anything to do with Disney World for a little tribute.
I mean, we've been going to Disney World since we were little, same as your family, Eric. And, you know, just all those trips when you're in school and you're so excited to go and you get there. And when you're little, it literally has this magic, and it still does as an adult, but it's just different when you're younger. And taking my niece a few years ago, you can just kind of watch through her like you were a kid again. But yeah, Disney just does it all right, from the sounds in the park to the smells to just, you know, the theming of the rides, the Imagineers, the way they make them. I mean, there's no theme park like it. And it's not, you know, thrill rides and crazy, you know, the Hulk ride or, you know, Raging Bull, but there's just something about Disney that makes it literally one of the, you know, special place. And all my memories there are great. I mean, going as a kid with my brothers and my family, and then, you know, a few years ago going with my niece and watching her experience it for the first time, the fireworks shows, going on the ride. I mean, the whole damn package. I mean, Walt knew what the hell he was doing, and he just great. And I don't think they can do that today. I don't think there's a way they could build another theme park or a company that did what Disney's doing and did do. Yeah. So the whole thing is just Disney. There's nothing else like it.
Love that. Nice little summary there. Justin, what about you, sir? Favorite memories?
Yeah, I can't disagree with what Jeff is saying. I never went as a child. The first time I went, I was like 30, I guess.
Yeah.
So I was an old man the first time that I went, but there was, like Jeff saying, the attention to detail that they go through in this park is just unparalleled. And I forget which park we were in. I was with my family, Palindrome Jedi, and we were walking through basically the Winnie the Pooh section. And a random door opened and 3 cast members approached us. And they said, "Excuse me, can we talk to you? Can we talk to you? Can we talk to you?" And like everybody was like getting out of the way. Everyone was ignoring. And then all of a sudden Tigger and Pooh were there. and they said, Pooh has a surprise for you. And so like my family like kept walking and I stopped and I was like, what do you got? And he pulls this ridiculously sized sundae from behind his back and he says, this is a special present for you.
Oh my God.
And there's pictures on Facebook, which I'll find them so we can share them. But I mean, this thing was ridiculous. And that was it. It was just the fact that they just were like, that's the family that we're going to go give this ridiculous ice cream sundae to. And they did. And I mean, on their menu, it was like $25 for it. And they just gave it to us for free. It was, I'll always remember that.
Hell yeah. That's the Disney magic right there.
It seems like going with Paladin Jedi, she's gonna attract cast members because she did it when we all went with the stormtroopers, where she had probably the most epic moment I've ever seen at Disney, where she was approached by two stormtroopers and an Imperial, I don't know if he was a lieutenant or whatever he was, and they came up to her with her lightsaber, and it was at night, it's lit, and they asked her if that's a real Jedi lightsaber, and it better be a toy, and then she waved her hand in front of them like the Force, said, it is a toy, move along. And they said the same thing, it is a toy, move along. And we were all and I remember Justin and Dave just jumping up, like freaking out, like just an amazing moment. But that's what Disney does. But yeah, she attracts cast members. So if you want to meet cast members like Justin did with the ice cream, or we did when we were in Galaxy's Edge, just go with her.
Yeah.
Just we'll post her bank account info, her social info. Just Venmo her all the monies,
Address,
and she will
no
join
problem.
you.
Yep. It's a very steep. It's about $40K per hour. So just look in the old piggy bank and grab a few $100 bills.
Get some shekels.
Get some shekels. So. Favorite memories, that's a tough one. I mean, obviously growing up when you ride rides for the first time, I can't remember all of them from like being super young, but I just remember those kind of those maybe middle school years when I was kind of growing up and of age, where the rides were still incredibly, believable in the sense that like I really thought I was in this place, or I really thought I was meeting one of those characters. And I still love it to this day. So just riding the rides. Space Mountain's my favorite. I mean, everything they did with Animal Kingdom was really cool. All the new rides that they're bringing on board, and obviously all the new properties. They've got Marvel now. They've got Star Wars. So, I mean, Disney World, it's just a place where you can go. You can unwind. You can just let the magic happen. Take the sights, the smells, the sounds in. And it's kind of like, for those of you out there that have been there before, which is Vegas, it's kind of like Vegas. You just go there to throw away money. Like, you got to go knowing that, hey, this, Justin, like you said, this sundae is going to cost $25. Why? I don't know. It's got one extra banana in it. But it's fucking delicious, and it's magical, and it's in the shape of like 3 different characters. So, it's just such a great place, great food. Go with people that would have a good time. I think I've even seen like grumpy people go and actually like laugh and put on Mickey hats and just like really have a good. So I don't know, something happens there, and wish I could live there, but I gotta hit the lottery first. But no, I just shout out to Disney World, happy 50th birthday, Mickey Mouse and everyone, and I gotta ask you guys a side quest. I gotta branch off here really quick. You guys are in charge of Disney World. You got the keys to all the kingdoms. If you could create a 5th park, what would it be? Would it be something magical, something unique? But if you had to come up with a 5th park at Disney World, and whatever you say goes, Jeff, what kind of park are you making?
Oh boy. I would probably just really want to focus in on a Star Wars park. I mean, to be honest, because they've hit all the other parks. Epcot is amazing. I mean, I'd love for them to keep expanding Magic Kingdom and Epcot and Animal Kingdom, but the way they did Galaxy's Edge is amazing, but it's just too small.
Right.
And if they had a full park where each, like in Magic Kingdom, there's different lands. Think of the Star Wars park as different planets. So you'll have Tatooine, you could have, Coruscant, you could have the different couple of the famous planets, and they could just go insane. I mean, imagine what they could do
Yeah,
with that. It'd blow all of our minds.
absolutely. Awesome idea. Justin, got to follow up that one. How you going to do it?
I'm gonna piggyback, and because the first thing that came to my mind is an underwater park
Ooh.
would just be so effing fantastic, and the Gungan planet from Star Wars and all of their underwater awesomeness would be like a great kind of transition into living under the sea.
Wow. That sounds awesome. I have never thought of that before until you brought it up. That's a really good idea. I like that. You two
Thank you.
are in charge. You two just got a raise.
Well,
Better than Eisner.
So mine's, I don't know if this is a cheat or not. You guys tell me. But one thing I know they legally can't really do is the Marvel characters actually being on rides. So I know there was some kind of deal before they actually owned Marvel. I would love for there to be a dedicated Marvel park, and this be geared more towards like the teens and the young adults and like our age, to where it's more like a Six Flags, kind of like obviously Islands of Adventure and that and all that, but like solely dedicated on Disney property to Marvel. So you walk in and like you're in New York City, you're in Wakanda, you're in all these different places where big landmark events happen, and you're just meeting all the characters. And I know they opened up the like campus in Disneyland, like the Avengers campus, like that's kind of cool, but that would just kind of be like a small little subsection of this entire park. Like it'd be great to have all these different rides geared towards Marvel characters. And I mean, obviously they got the property now, so hopefully one day they can make it happen, but I think it'd be really cool to have a superhero park.
I believe they have sketches for it. It's that Universal thing.
Yeah, the contract fucked them over.
And I have a feeling, eventually that's going to end. I mean, Disney knows, and I have a feeling there's many sketches right now at Disney of a Marvel park. I almost can guarantee that.
Yeah, good point. So, Disney, if you're listening, make it happen. Make it happen. Oh, Jeff, what's that? Is that a little treasure chest over there? Do you see that?
No.
You see a little treasure chest? What is it? Open that up. Make the little noise that it opens.
Why don't you go check it out?
Check it out. Oh, it's opening.
Let's go.
Oh, what did we just uncover? But our second segment of the night, it is
Let's go.
retro game. So we are going to talk about a retro game. We're going to try to bring this to you every so often, which is, for tonight, we are going to talk about Pokemon Snap. So all the way back to Nintendo 64 days, it is a retro game. So any of you folks out there that have ever played it or owned an N64, I'm sure you know what we're talking about. And if you don't, and for the Claudias of the world, hi Claudia, welcome to year 2. This was a game on the N64. It actually came out in North America on June 30th, 1999. So, I mean, talk about good timing for this game to come out. Middle of summer. Holy shit. Like, good timing there, Pokemon Snap creators. But this game, for those of you that don't know what it is, basically it's a game where you just rail shooter. You just go automatically. You're in a little cart. Professor Oak, who's like the master scientist behind all the Pokemon and categorizes and catalogs them all, he sends you on a mission. You are the photographer, and your job is to go out and snap Pokemon in their natural habitat and get them to do weird tricks and shit, because you got apples and little firecrackers and who else knows what. But basically, you go these different levels. There's about 6 different levels, and you try to make the most amount of points by getting some really cool snaps. So, with that little overview, Jeff, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Pokemon Snap?
So much comes to mind. I remember. I mean, the 64 comes to mind. And Pokemon was just such a huge thing for all of us. When it came out, we didn't really know what the hell it was. We just knew we needed it, because anytime a Pokemon game came out, you just had to have it. And you took photos of Pokemon, and your favorite ones were in there, because I think all original 150 are in there somewhere. You have to trick some of them to come out.
Yep.
And then the pairing they did with Blockbuster, where you could go and print the photos out as like little stickers, probably no bigger than a mailing stamp, but Oh, and there'd be a line to get in there to print them out, and sometimes the printer would be broken or it'd be out of paper, and it just ruin your day. And we played, and let me make clear, the game is about 40 minutes in length, if that. I mean, it is not a long. It's not like Ocarina of Time, which also was on 64. But there was just something so stupid and fun about it, and we just kept playing it over and over and over and over again, just to get the cool photo, just to get it printed out at Blockbuster, just so we could brag in middle school. Like, "Ooh, look at the cool scyther I took. Oh, I got Gyarados. How'd you do that?"
You throw
We didn't
apples
have
in the
internet to figure
waterfall.
out. Yeah, it was just, it was like watching, gaming for us back then was like watching the new show. Like, did you watch Power Rangers? It was an awesome episode. Did you play, the new game? Because at the time, everyone was just playing the new game. Did you get Pokemon? You're playing that. Did you get Zelda? Everyone's playing that. So it was like talking about Game of Thrones and then trying to figure out how to unlock Pokemon because you didn't have the internet the way we did, where you just Google it in 2 seconds. That's how you get Gyarados to pop
Right.
up. You either got to get Nintendo Power, borrow your friend's Nintendo Power, or have one of your friends tell you how to do it, and you'd go over to his house and figure it out. And just it's super awesome to do it. I remember, Eric, you and I would do it
Yeah.
to get the Gyarados because you really like Gyarados, which is
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
fun topic we talked about a while ago. We leveled only a Gyarados, but yeah, so that's what
Yeah.
what I loved about it.
Yeah, that's a great summary, and I gotta go through some of the critical reception here. So the reception of the game, it actually scored semi decent, like for as big of as I think in our minds of a game it was. Like it scored 77 on Metacritic, GameSpot had it at 8 out of 10, IGN 7.8, Nintendo Power had it an 8.7. So it actually scored fairly decent, and I just love looking at Wikipedia and reading through some of the original reviews where GameSpot praised it as being a refreshingly unique game. It's just funny to think back of like you play it now and it's like, God, what the fuck is it? Like that was like state of the art graphics. It was awesome to see your Pokemon, your favorite Pokemon in there. And I will admit, I don't know if another game has come out like this, let's call it like this game, that has so much replayability. Because you think about it, you go through that same level, it's what, like a little 5-minute cart ride tops. You go through that same level like easily 25 times because you just got to get you got to get Pikachu, and then oh wait, you didn't throw the apple far enough to the surfboard. Now you got to start all over, get him on the surfboard, better picture, and then this one, the Butterfree isn't hatched yet, so you got to go and do this thing.
Well, I
And then
got some good news for you.
Oh,
There is a
what?
Pokemon Snap Switch.
Oh yeah, you're right. That came out.
There you go.
That came out this year, and it's like it's weird to think that this is kind of like the first one since then. I know there have been like other small weird versions of it, like just I don't know, just ones that haven't really for me come up that seem to be interesting. But yeah, you're right. The first one in like over 20 years to come out, and I guess it took them all. Honestly, I haven't even heard anything about it since then. Like, is it a good game? Is it is it as fun as the original? Could it be as fun as the original? I don't know. And look at us hogging all the airways. We know Justin's just itching to talk about Pokemon Snap over there.
Oh, itching and bitching. But no, for me being audience, I've got some years on my junior cast members on the podcast, but when Pokemon came out, a little bit immature.
Yeah, he was stomping nerds like us.
It's true, stomping. And no, and it's like the only Pokemon game that I played was Pokemon Red, and that was in college. And after college, I found it to be on Game Boy Mini or Junior or whatever the hell they called it. I would bring it with me on like work trips, and I would play Pokemon on airplanes going to be Mr. Professional Man.
I love that.
But I never played the card games. I never played Snap. To me, it sounds like the most boring parts of Rockstar's Bully, if you remember that game.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not discounting your experiences because I wish that I could have been a part of it, but I was kind of too mature for you all and stomping nerd at that time.
It's all good. We love you anyways. But yeah, it was just one of those games where, Jeff, like you said, it's kind of after school, run over to a friend's house, and it was definitely that competition of like who's got the highest score, and also who has enough money to go to Blockbuster to get these fucking pictures printed, and like convincing your parents in the late 90s like why you have to go to Blockbuster with your N64 cartridge. Like, what do you want to do? like I don't know if it gets more okay boomer than that, you know, like we got to go to Blockbuster. And of course our parents took us because they're awesome parents, and they just fought through it, whatever it was. Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't know. We got some. Just I would love to go back in time and just see them explaining to their neighbor friends or just adult friends like what you just went and took your son to do. Well, I took mine to go play ball. My kid just got his wrestling trophy. What did Eric do? Well, I took him to Blockbuster to print out a Gyarados picture because he got 2,000 points and he gets extra apples. Like, that's my son. I'm so proud of my son. Number one son. Now insert a little photography snapshot edit in there. But no, that was a fun ass game. So what we're going to do every once in a while here, bring that segment to you. Go check out that retro game. Even if you don't have an N64, go YouTube it. Just see how ridiculous it is if you've never heard of it before. It's a fun ass game. For those of you who do remember it, let us know your favorite memories and favorite pictures. And maybe even if you still have some, Jeff, I have to imagine somewhere in that household, there is a Pokemon Snap literal image, like the actual hard copy of an image somewhere, just like stuffed between a cushion.
I think I have a time capsule from when we were in middle school. I don't know if you remember when we did those. And I believe that there is an electric type Pokemon in there, Total Annihilation, like a printout of it. And I believe there might be a Pokemon Snap in there. So
that's so good. So good. Well, thank you, Pokemon Snap, for being in our lives and being a part of our history. So, retro game right there. And last but not least, something new we want to try out here on Sidequest 2.0 is free I almost said porno. Don't do that, kids. Free promo Fridays. So, every week, our episode's going to come out once a week. We're going to go a little bit longer. And we want to give somebody a shout out, whether it's somebody we know, another podcast, or anything that you do. You know, just shout at us, let us know. And so for this week, we want to give a big shout out to someone that was on one of our episodes. She was on our Power Rangers episode. I believe it was back in season 3. She actually kicked off season 3, episode 1. So in our archives, go check it out. But shout out to Becky. She's an awesome local Chicago artist. She joined us on an episode, and literally within hours, she drew a picture of us, like just the best cartoon image that I've seen in a long time. And we just loved it. We fell in love with it so quickly. And you can find her at Bhilgie, that's Bhillgie, on Instagram. And so we definitely got to have her back on the show.
And our new logo.
She designed our brand new logo, so when you're listening to this, you're going to see it. So we'll be sure to tag her so that you guys can go find her, and please follow her and like it and subscribe it and all that fun stuff. So so shout out to Becky. Thanks so much for everything that you've done and being a part of the show in the past, and for the new promo art and cover art and all that fun stuff. So that's this week's free Friday. Meet. And so that is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sidequest Podcast, year number 2. We are in 2.0 mode. I'm so glad you guys could join us. Please go out and like our stuff, subscribe to it, follow it. We're going to get our YouTube channel up and running. We're working hard on everything in the background. So we got a lot of fun stuff coming up. We got a lot of great new segments, a lot of new guests lined up. So let us know what you think. We hope you like it, you love it, you want some more of it. So boys, for the first episode of the second year, what ideas do we have?
I mean, I'm thinking Pokemon.
It has to be Pokemon. And I feel like we did Eric's Pokemon sound in the past.
Yes.
I feel like we definitely...
All right, Jeff.
New Pokemon.
Jeff, you be a new Pokemon. I'll be snapping pictures, and then you just make the noise.
Okay, this is Bringot.
Okay. All right, I'm gumming along. I throw an apple. Ooh, a Bringot.
That happened.